Coming up, wild weather tears across the nation. We're tracking the impact on GA airports.
Learn about upset recovery training. Could save your life.
One stop to answer all of your ADS-B questions. And we fly with the Breitling Jet Team at the AOPA Homecoming Fly-In.
AOPA Live this week starts in just a moment.
It's been called the most sophisticated single-engine airplane ever. But to the people whose loved ones are alive today, it's called a lifesaver. The Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, only from Cirrus Aircraft.
From tornadoes to floods, this week has not been a gentle one. Thanks for choosing AOPA Live this week. I'm Tom Haines.
And I'm Melissa Rudinger. States of emergency have been declared across the nation's central and southern plains. Dozens are dead, major cities are underwater, and GA airports are left picking up the pieces. Take a look at these pictures from Sulphur Springs, Texas. Glenn McManus sent them. You can see high winds toss these ag airplanes into 2 fuel trucks. The airport also tells us that the terminal roof was damaged in the storm, and a sinkhole closed one of the runways at DFW Airport.
And so GA airport's, of course, an important part of relief efforts as they try to recover from down in Texas. But meanwhile, weather creating problems halfway around the world for an airplane trying to fly around the globe. Solar Impulse 2 was set to depart China this week. That's been delayed because of the weather. No word yet on when the flight might take off for Hawaii. And speaking of weather, we've got a great resource for you when it comes to ADS-B. We've got a new microsite that aims to answer all your questions about it. From understanding the technology to complying with the mandate, this site will be able to help. You can use our ADS-B selector tool to help find the right solution for your airplane. Find it under the Pilot Resources tab at aopa.org.
And it's now time to get serious about installing ADS-B out in your airplane if you want to continue flying in Class B airspace and anywhere else where you need a Mode C transponder today. The FAA mandate is the end of 2019, and that's not very far away.
We've come a long way, Warren, from where we started with respect to this mandate. You know, as early as October of last year, when the FAA called a meeting to determine where the industry was on equipage, you know, we were the only organization, quite frankly, that said, hey, look, this costs too much. And what benefits are we going to get? And we were able to get others in the GA community, many of the type clubs to join in with us. And we were very successful, I think, in lowering the cost. In many cases, more than 50%. Is that still too much? You know, it is a cost that unfortunately we're going to have to bear, because what we're really trying to do is move to a satellite-based air traffic control system.
NextGen requires ADS-B out to work. That's why the FAA wants everybody to equip by 2020 if they want to fly in the busy airspace. Remember, you can find out what you need in your airplane under the Pilot Resources tab on aopa.org.
Now, given the Malaysia 370 and Germanwings 9525 crashes, you won't be surprised to learn that this week the FAA announced that it wants to know more about the emotional and mental health of U.S. commercial pilots. A joint FAA and industry group has promised to deliver recommendations back to the FAA within 6 months. The committee will look at issues including reporting of emotional and mental health issues and the barriers to reporting those issues. At this point, the efforts are focused on commercial pilots. AOPA policy and medical staff will be following the process closely to gauge any potential impacts on GA pilots.
The AOPA Frederick Homecoming Fly-In is just 1 week away, and we are getting ready to host some superstar guests. The Breitling Jet Team is making its way across the U.S. It's their first season in the country. And they are doing a flyover and then landing to hang out a bit at the fly-in. AOPA Live's Josh Cochran introduces you to the team.
After 12 years performing all over the world, the Breitling Jet Team is performing in the U.S. for the first time.
It would be a very great experience, and I am looking forward to seeing a lot of area in America.
As ambassadors of Breitling, the team strives for precision and beauty.
We are very graphic in the sky. L39 is very nice looking in the air.
Our concern is to give a positive emotion to the spectators, to make them happy because of the rhythm, the symmetry, the harmony, the smoke, the music, the commentary. It's a show, it's an entertainment.
Most of the pilots share military experience, but the team is unique because it is a civilian jet team.
We are all former fighter pilots, so we joined after 20 years spent in the Air Force, in the French Air Force.
Many of the team members had dreams of being airshow pilots since they were young.
And after that, my parents took me to an air show. I was about 10, and seeing those aircraft, the maneuvers, the atmosphere, the people clapping and enjoying the displays, probably create this motivation to become an air show pilot.
Being on the team and flying in the U.S. is the fulfillment of that dream.
I'm a happy man. Being the leader of the Breitling Jet Team is a great experience, and especially coming here for this American tour, I am a happy man.
It was a kid dream to perform, to display in USA, and now I am here. So the dream is done.
American audiences loved the show, especially the ending. Josh Cochran, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Josh. We hope you'll join us in just 1 week for the AOPA Homecoming Fly-In. It's going to be a fun event. There's everything you have come to expect from AOPA Fly-Ins, including an aerobatic demonstration by airshow superstar Michael Goulian. You will also get to see where your association is hard at work for you. If you're coming, we're delighted, but please do RSVP. You can find all of the information at the link on your screen.
Well, a big win for GA. A judge in New Jersey ruled in favor of a family-owned airport. For years, the Solberg-Hunterdon Airport was under attack from Reddington Township. The municipality tried to mess with operations and more recently to seize the property using eminent domain laws. The judge let the township have it in his ruling, eloquently stating how poorly the city leaders have behaved. His ruling states that town officials acted in bad faith in their condemnation of the property and found the attempted land grab illegal. Well, coming up after the break, you couldn't ask for a better set of circumstances in an emergency landing.
And learning how to get yourself out of trouble in an extra 300. You're watching AOPA Live this week.
From your first skyward glance, the dream of flight compelled you. And from your first glimpse of a Cirrus, you realized that dream had a name. Cirrus Aircraft. Go where you've never been before.
Wow, that's about as textbook as it could be.
Boy, it sure was. Good thing it was close to the airport.
It is. An emergency landing during the Arsenal of Democracy flyover caught on camera from the pilot's point of view.
And this is from inside the TBM Avenger, who had to break off from the flight. He was able to land safely at Reagan National Airport. You can see why the pilot thought the airplane was on fire. Turns out it was a pinhole leak in a hydraulic line, and the white smoke was just atomized hydraulic fluid.
There are other emergencies that can confront a GA pilot. Everyone trains for unusual attitude recovery, and you might even get one on a flight review. But some think that isn't enough. There is a school of thought that every pilot should take aerobatic training. AOPA Live executive producer Warren Morningstar reports.
So our goal is to equip pilots with the skills that they need when confronted with an upset situation to be able to handle that startle factor and to methodically process the steps and return the airplane to the normal operating category.
Dean Demo Castillo used to fly F-14s and F-18s for a living. In fact, everybody in the company is a former naval aviator.
Best reason to get upside down is just to prepare you for any given contingency. You don't want to be in that situation and not have ever prepared for it.
Prevalence prepares pilots of all experience levels, student to ATP, to expect the unexpected and deal with it.
It made me much more ready to handle any kind of unusual attitude that I might get.
Christine Hartzell is the chief pilot for the AOPA Air Safety Institute.
Well, one of the reasons that I wanted to do the upset training and recovery was to update a module in the EFERC that focuses on teaching loss of control avoidance.
Christine took the 3-day upset recovery course, which is designed primarily for corporate and airline pilots. But no matter what aerobatic course you take, each flight starts with a military-style briefing.
Mission brief, what are we going to do out there today? Well, when we get above 1,500 feet, I'll do a quick inverted check, double check me, make sure I'm on the acro tank.
A 5G maneuver to make sure the student is up to the rigors of the day's flight.
We'll conduct our aerobatic.
Here comes 5. Then, an extreme unusual attitude.
Proceed of the airplane. I'm ready, let's throttle.
But the recovery procedure is always the same.
The first thing we want to do is disconnect the automation. So autopilot, auto throttles, disconnect. We want to unload the aircraft. We want to get the AOA off of the airplane. We want to arrest any roll or yaw. Then we need to think about what to do with our throttles. Generally, if we're in a nose-up situation, we want to power up, nose down, power down. Then we want to reorient our lift vector. If we're in a nose-down situation, we want to get our wings within 30 degrees of the horizon before we start that pull so that we don't put asymmetric loads on the fuselage. If we're in a nose-high situation, especially with an overbank, we'll roll to 45 to 60 degrees angle of bank, allow the nose to fall through the horizon, level the wings, and then a nice smooth pull to reset VX or VY depending, and not stall the airplane again, and then reset our power and our trim.
It's a mantra you can hear Christine verbalizing.
And you got the airplane. I'm ready, let's throttle.
And it's surprisingly hard to do in the heat of the moment.
I wasn't able to say the recovery and do the recovery at the same time until day 3. So I think that surprised me the most. I thought I'd pick it up right away. But it takes a little while for your brain to get over that whole startle factor.
And what might startle you?
The 3 most common causes, obviously, are aircraft-induced, some kind of an aircraft malfunction, environmentally induced, or human error-induced. Wake turbulence situation, a flight control malfunction, mountain wave turbulence, turbulence associated with a thunderstorm. There's a number of things that can cause an individual inattention, distraction, getting task saturated or fixated on handling an emergency, inadvertent autopilot disengagement in IMC. There are a lot of opportunities to find yourself in an unusual attitude.
But as Patty Wagstaff says, once you've learned to do aerobatics, there are no unusual attitudes. And there might be another reason to do this additional training.
Well, the other reason to do this kind of training is really flat out just it's fun.
At the Chesapeake Regional Airport, Warren Morningstar, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Warren. You can read more about upset training at Prevalence Aerospace on our website, aopa.org.
Auburn University is starting commercial drone training. They're the first college in the country to get FAA approval. Training will be open to the public and take place in locations around Alabama. The program will offer classroom and flying practice in fixed-wing and quadcopter drones. The school hopes to start classes this summer.
Finally this week, AOPA pilot editor Ian Twombly shows you 2 more on the seemingly endless market of flight bags.
I don't think any pilot has ever sat around and said, gee, I wish we had more choice of flight bags. But flight outfitters, they wanted to help you out, and we're actually glad they did. They've granted the wish you never had, and 2 new offerings, new company. Really nice materials here on both. This is the Thrust, so cool names, and the Lift. Nice styling. One thing I like about the Thrust is it's kind of a backpack style. You sling it over your shoulder, and it's got that whole new trend with flight bags where there's tons of pockets everywhere you look. Even some hidden pockets here under the flap, which is nice. The Lift has these braided steel cables and something I really like, which is this outside pocket. You can easily slide in a GPS, an iPad, something like that. Big enough to fit maybe 1 headset and then all your accessories. These are available either from the company or from Sporties. The Thrust is $80. The Lift is $100. So a little on the pricier end, but really nice materials here and well worth it. Ian Twombly, AOPA Live.
Thanks, Ian. Looks like some good choices there. Well, that's it for this week. Join us again next Thursday. I'm Melissa Rudinger.
And I'm Tom Haynes. Thanks for watching. See you next week.